All right, let's bring in SABC News correspondent now, Ishan Garg, joining us live from New Delhi with the very latest. Ishan, a very good afternoon to you. So since our last conversation on this matter yesterday, has the Enforcement Directorate shed any light in terms of what was contained in those documents, digital evidence that was collected? I mean, what's the latest there?
Well, the Enforcement Directorate, which is directly under the federal government of the country and is responsible for enforcing anti-money laundering laws, is usually very tight-lipped about its investigations, and until it's ready to prepare what's called a charge sheet, is a document in which it enlists what kind of charges it is going to frame against the accused. It often keeps the information under pretty tight traps. So we don't know exactly what the authorities are doing as of this moment. But given the track record of the agency, we understand a few things. We do understand that the digital evidence that was collected from the Gupta family's Saharanpur ancestral home, that will likely undergo forensic analysis. Any documents that might have been collected, those will also go under in analysis, and the Enforcement Directorate could continue questioning some key people who might be associated with the Gupta family's businesses. These could include their business interests here, or it could include third-party businesses that might be indirectly linked to the Gupta family's businesses, either in South Africa, in India, or even in the United Arab Emirates, which is where reports now say that the Gupta brothers might be present. So we haven't actually heard from Indian authorities, and they usually don't comment on criminal investigations until they are ready to form a charge sheet. But when they do come out with the information about the kind of charges they're looking to pin on the Gupta brothers and their potential business associates, we will have more information at that point.
And do you get a sense then, just in terms of what you've just been saying, that these raids do somehow signal a stronger willingness by Indian authorities to support South Africa's fight against, state capture through these international legal cooperation that we've seen?
Well, this is certainly a major step, and a big sign of that, of course, is the involvement of this very agency, the Enforcement Directorate. We have seen certain police actions, certain income tax related action from Indian officials on the Gupta brothers and their properties and related companies in the past, but those were carried out by officials who do not have the kind of powers that the Enforcement Directorate possesses. This agency is immensely powerful when it comes to money laundering allegations and money laundering cases. To give you an example, this is an agency that is capable of seizing assets. It's capable of freezing bank accounts, so it can financially hamstring any person or any entity that it thinks is carrying out money laundering operations. So the involvement of this very entity is proof enough that the mutual assistance request that was started by the South African government has been taken by the Indian government very seriously. And now the expectation would be that this kind of action is going to put a lot of pressure on the Gupta brothers, and that could potentially aid in South Africa's bid to get the brothers extradited from UAE.
And very quickly, Ishan, just paint a picture in terms of how the media is framing these latest raids, particularly also when you consider that there were other businessmen that were also, they also had their properties raided too.
Well, certainly. I mean, a big part of the Indian media's coverage of these entire raids has been the fact that not only the Gupta brothers' properties have been raided, the officials are also looking at what could eventually turn out to be a massive financial network through which money laundering might have been carried out. That's the allegation by the Enforcement Directorate here. And in particular, they are looking at two key entities. One is a company called JJ Trading. It's set up by a person called Ram Ratan Jagati. This is a person who we understand is based in Ahmedabad in the West Indian state of Gujarat, and then another entity is called the World Window Group, which is reportedly set up by a person called Piyush Goyal, who is a businessman based here in New Delhi. And these two people have, according to reports, already been spoken to by the Enforcement Directorate. They have been questioned by the relevant authorities here, and we now understand that their companies and their role in what the reports are describing as a massive financial network that is being investigated. So the Indian media's eyes are trained very much on what comes out of those investigations as far as these Indian businesses are concerned, because we have seen in the past few years that the Indian government has, with a very keen focus, attacked money laundering as a crime, and transnational financial crimes is something that the government is taking incredibly seriously in the past few years. But as far as the Gupta brothers and their role in this whole operation is concerned, that is being looked at from a lens of what kind of assistance can the Indian authorities provide their South African counterparts, and at what point will all this information be shared with South African officials so they can prepare a case of their own.
Ishan, thank you so much for that update. Ishan Garg, live for us from New Delhi.